Good question you had this morning. You asked, the question was, what is holding you back? What is holding you back? It is a good question. If it wasn't holding you back, what would you write about? A lot of things going through my mind about that would be. I asked myself the question, if I had $1 million or funding was unlimited, what would I be doing? And that helped unlock some things. And then I did a quick flip through an Instagram and I saw this post and it said, of course you would die for your children, but are you living healthy for them? And to me, my first thought of that was, what do you mean, of course you would die for your children? To me, this obviously was a post that came from a female. To her, that makes perfect common sense. She would die for her children. I mean, she'd way be more likely to die for her children than die for her husband. You ask a man the same question, would you be more likely to die for your wife or die for your children? More likely than not, he's going to say, I would more likely die for my wife than my children. It seems to me that's a fundamental difference between men and women. And this is the funny thing. I'm not a cat person. Why do these cats, all these animals, always want to come around me? I have no idea. I do not like you. For whatever reason, they feel comfortable around me. So I'm thinking to myself, of course you would die for your children, but would you live healthy for them? I'm asking, would you die for your husband? Now, I know the person that put up this post, she's divorced. And the answer to that question is absolutely not. She would not die for her husband because she got divorced. She thought it was more valuable to, quote unquote, protect the children. Can tell you how many times I've heard women say that. Well, I got divorced for the children. I wanted to keep them safe, blah, blah. All this nonsense. Like, what man really wants to endanger their children? But it's just a difference of understanding or personality. When my children were younger and my son was climbing a tree, my ex-wife would be like, be careful, David, don't climb too high. And I'm like, let's see how high you can go, son. Now, was I endangering his life? Was he in an unsafe situation? I guess that's a matter of perspective. But that's what men do to their boys. They challenge them and push them to take calculated risks. And yeah, you might fall and you might break a bone. That's part of life. I think that's one of the problems we have in society is bicycle helmets. When I was a child, if you fell off your bike and hit your head, it hurt. You should feel pain when you do something stupid. But nowadays, we have bike helmets and bubble wrap on everybody. We don't want anybody's feelings to get hurt, or heaven forbid, they get injured. So what am I afraid of, Laura? This is what I'm afraid of. If I speak my mind and what I think is true, not what I think, what I know is true, and I know that might sound arrogant, but what we need is more fathers in the home. We need more dads. What we need to get away from is this gynocentric, feminist, dominated, tyrannical matriarchy that we live in. The quote, of course we would all die for our children, but would you live healthy for them? I mean, here's my question. Would you die for your husband? Would you get your ass in shape for your husband? Would you stop being a fat ass for your husband? How would that come across? Of course, I'd be met with ridicule and condemnation. I'd be a misogynistic, chauvinistic man-hater that I am, or woman-hater that I am. But that's what we need. Have that same attitude toward your husband. Get your ass in shape for him. Stay healthy for him. Stop idolizing your children. Idolize your husband. But idolizing is not the right word, but that's what you do for these children. You put these kids up on a pedestal, and if you have an animal in the house, it's usually the hierarchy is this for women today. Job, animal or children, then animal, then your husband. That's all goofy. It needs to be husband first, children second, maybe an animal, then a career. But the priorities are all out of whack. You need to have him on a pedestal, the same way he should have you on a pedestal. That's how this works. But the children should be nowhere near the top of that pedestal. They are second-class citizens in a relationship, a married husband and wife family. The man and woman first. They take care of each other first, then the children. That's what's wrong with society today. That's what's wrong with families today. It's this gynocentric, woman-dominated, women, children-focused tyranny that we live in today. So, what's holding me back, Laura? Saying that type of stuff because I know it's true and it needs to be spoken. These women need to have their chains jerked and say, stop with this nonsense. Stop hiding from your nature. All of these older women, they all have these cats and dogs. Why? Because they love to nurture. They love to take care of other things. That's what gives them a sense of joy and purpose. That's how this works. That's why when they're not married or they don't have a relationship, they get animals. Probably they're going to end up with a dog or a cat and die alone. And then they'll justify it. Well, I'm so happy. That's what I want to be. I'm very happy right now and content. Okay, wonderful. If you want to delude yourself and think that way, fine, do that. But would you rather be sitting around 80, 90 years old with a bunch of cats in your house? Would you rather be sitting around 80 or 90 years old, you and some frail, broken down old man with a cane, and multiple children, multiple grandchildren, multiple great-grandchildren, sitting in an old bed and breakfast like this with the fireplace rolling? Which one would be more meaningful, more happy, more joy-filled? Having the children or having a bunch of cats? See, we need to stop with this delusion. You're not happier with a cat or a dog. You're happier with a relationship, husband, wife, man, children, and wife, children. That's how this works. Women need to understand that they have the power. They have all the power. Men are stupid. They want to serve. They want to protect. They will die for you. But they don't want to be dominated. They don't want to be argued with. And they don't want to have debates all the time with you. They just want to know that you love them, you love him, and you believe in him. And he's not a monster. Yeah, 1% of men are monsters. They're delusional psychopaths. I get that. But that's not all men. 99% of men are good, faithful, protecting, will die for you. That's a majority of men. It's not that way for women today. Women are all about, I'm in control, I'm a woman, I'm a boss babe, hear me roar, blah, 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 blah. No guy wants to be with that. No good man wants to put up with that at all. They'll just move on. I know I do. I don't put up with that at all. And I talk to them, shoot, you've got the passport bros now. They're going overseas to find women. You've got these groups like MGTOW, men going their own way. Why? Because they will not put up with this bullshit with women anymore. Y'all are toxic. And it's feminism that's doing it. It's totally against your nature. You know it's against your nature. And that's what I want to speak to. I love women. I want them to understand how destructive and toxic this feminism is. Feminism, it's toxic. It's destroying men, women, families, babies. Toxic. I read this article today. A woman getting an abortion 38 weeks of pregnancy. I'm sorry, that's a baby. That's flat, stone cold murder. And women, this is the pinnacle of feminism, is that I get to be promiscuous and I have abortions whenever I want to. How in the world is that beneficial to anyone? Promiscuity and abortion. Yay, feminism. That's the nonsense that we live in today. Utter nonsense. So, that's what I'm afraid of. Speaking my mind like that. I don't know. And then this cat. He knows better. Anyway, that's my fireside chat for today. From Saugatuck, Michigan, the Rosemont Inn. This is R.J. Regan. February 3rd, 2023. 2/3/23. Ciao. Yeah, I know. I don't like you at all. But you feel comfortable here.